and good morning, afternoon, or evening. Today we'll be on the Am I Overreacting subreddit reading some insane stories that I found for you guys. Remember, if you enjoyed these videos, please like and subscribe. It really does mean a lot. My goal is to reach 100 subscribers by the end of the year. Now, without further ado, let's get into the first story. Am I overreacting? My sister and husband text privately while spending time together. Should I be concerned? My husband and my sister have developed what I think is an unusually close relationship, and I'm trying to figure out if I'm overreacting. My husband travels for work to the area where my sister lives, so they have opportunities to see each other when he's in town. Some examples. They text directly about travel plans, shopping, TV shows, and random family life stuff. My sister's gone shopping one-on-one with him before and bought clothes for him because she remembered his size. She frequently sends me photos of outfits, earrings, dresses, etc., asking for my opinion, but often feels like more she wants validation than advice. Once, she modeled a dress in front of me, my husband, and her husband. Her husband complimented her, but she immediately asked my husband what he thought. She's privately texted my husband asking when he'll be in town and told him when she would be away, seemingly, so he wouldn't visit when she's gone. When my husband mentioned a possible birthday week visit, she got very excited and immediately said she would start looking for reservations. She often seems unusually interested in my husband's reactions to clothes or style choices. My husband says nothing inappropriate has happened and that's all harmless. Am I overreacting, or does this sound like emotional flirtation / blurred boundaries? If you were in my shoes, would this bother you? Am I overreacting? Updated. My sister and husband text privately and spend time together. Should I be concerned? Since my last post, I found out more context that made me feel even less like this was, quote, just one weird moment. I learned from my niece that during the purse shopping trip, my sister encouraged her son to leave and go with his sister, which left my husband and my sister shopping together. My husband then took multiple photos of my sister trying on purses. My niece also later mentioned that the sales associate assumed they were husband and wife. My sister corrected her, but apparently found the whole thing funny and entertaining. I've seen the purse photos now, and they do not feel like quick shopping reference photos. They feel like my husband photographing and my sister modeling. There was also another visit where my husband stayed at my sister and her husband's house. After her husband left, my sister did her hair and makeup, modeled a winter coat, and my husband offered to take photos so that she could see it. Later that night, when she was dressed up for an event with her husband, she sent my husband a photo of herself with no comment attached. Again, any one thing could be possibly explained, but added to the private texting, the skirt saga, the jeans gift, and the dress on top opinions, the way she seems to care about his reaction to what she wears, and the fact that she keeps creating these little moments where he becomes her photographer or appearance judge starts to feel like a pattern I could not unsee. So I talked to my sister first. I told her I needed to discuss something awkward, and I tried to be calm. I said I was uncomfortable with texting, the outfit photos, the shopping, and the way she seems to use my husband as an audience for how she looks. She immediately got very calm, almost too calm. She said, "He's my brother-in-law. We get along. I didn't realize that was a crime now." I told her it was not that they get along, it was how they get along. She asked, "How do we get along?" I said, "You use him as an audience." That was when her tone changed. She gave me this small smile and said, "Or maybe I'm just comfortable in my body and you're uncomfortable watching someone else be comfortable in hers." I told her that was unfair. She said, "Then what exactly was going on? Modeling too aggressively? Wearing leggings at you?" I said, "No, I was trying to set a boundary." She said, "No, you're asking me to shrink so you can feel bigger." That one really hurt. When I brought up the photo she sent him after the coat situation, she said, "I sent a photo in a conversation we were already having." I said, with no comment. She said, "Because I didn't need one." Then she said, "Maybe you can try sending him photos. Maybe you wouldn't be so worried about him looking at mine." I told her that wasn't necessary, and she said, "So is accusing your sister trying to tempt your husband because he took a few pictures while shopping?" I asked if she would stop texting him privately about clothes, outfits, shopping, and photos. She said, "Stop what, exactly? Existing around him? Being friendly? Letting him take a photo if I ask? Laughing when something is funny?" I said, "You know what I mean." She said, "No, I don't think you know what you mean." The conversation ended with her saying, "If your issue is with your husband looking, talk to your husband. If your issue is that I look good, that's not mine to fix." That was probably the most painful part, because she made me feel insane and jealous for noticing something that feels real to me. She did not apologize, she did not agree to stop. She basically framed the entire thing as my insecurity and said I was trying to control a normal family relationship because I felt threatened. I walked away feeling worse, not better. And honestly, the conversation left me more confused. So now, should I have a conversation with my husband? What do I say? I thought confronting her with the facts would be easy, but I felt stupid, petty, and jealous. I need a sanity check. The top comment says, "I think I'd be having a conversation with her husband, to be honest. Let's see what he thinks." I completely agree with this top comment. If she feels that OP's being irrational, why doesn't she talk to her husband about it? I feel like OP should talk to her own husband before she goes to her sister's husband. If she can see a different reaction in her husband, then she'll probably know something is wrong. So then you can just go to your sister's husband and talk to him about it. I feel sorry for OP, and this is a terrible situation to be in, and I would never want to be in a situation like this. I hope OP the best, and I hope everything goes well. Now, onto story number 2. Am I overreacting? Boyfriend left me locked outside of the house until 1 a.m. for 3 hours. Partner dropped me off at my mom's at 1 p.m. He was going to go see his friend and then have lunch and then come back to my mom's so we can spend a little time together. It hits 9 and he still hasn't left. My mom sleeps early. It hits 10 now and he still hasn't left. But I have to leave, so I explained to him, look, I have to leave now because my mom needs to lock her door. Bear in mind he lost a set of our keys, so only he has the keys. He says he left and then 10 minutes later messaged me that he's only 44 minutes away, so I get a cab home. I finally get home and call him and he still hasn't left. I live in an extremely rough area. He thinks it's funny and is all laughing on the phone. I lost my shit and I cussed him out. Now it's 12 and he still hasn't left. I'm still waiting outside, so I broke up with him. He's forcing me to send him proof that I'm actually outside, which I am, and I just found that even weirder. My phone's dying, I don't live locally to anyone I know, and it hits 12:40, so I knock on the neighbor's door and ask them if I can climb the garden fence, as I knew that I have a left garden door unlocked and they let me in, thankfully. I pack all my partner's stuff in the bin bags, and he has the nerve to come home at 2 a.m. and call me childish. Then say, it's not like I was cheating, I was just with my friends. My problem isn't that he was with his friends, my problem is that he left me outside alone knowing I was in a bad area for 3 hours, and if I hadn't knocked on the neighbor's door, I would have been outside until 2? Are you for real? And he got upset that I involved the neighbors. Am I being dramatic, or is this not a really bad thing to do someone you claim to love and care for? Because I would never do it. Edit. I just want to thank you all so much for your responses and for taking your time out of the day to respond to me and make my feelings feel validated, as sometimes I can be a moron. In the past, I've been very quick to forgive. I will not go back, and thank you for ensuring I wasn't dramatic, as I was starting to feel maybe I did overreact, but it's clear as day that I didn't, and my 2-year relationship genuinely meant nothing. Thank you again. Last edit. He finally woke up and started to apologize. I told him he didn't even know why he was apologizing, and he went on to say I'm possessive, controlling, and dramatic. That I shouldn't have messaged him that many times or called that many times. I just said whatever, I can't be asked to argue. I'm dramatic, this is why your apologies mean nothing because you'll apologize and then blame me regardless. But we're finished, so you don't have to worry about me being controlling or possessive anymore. You go your way and I'll go mine. Again, thank you to all of you that responded. I appreciate it more than words can explain. Another update. Apparently, I'm an evil and deranged person. When things don't go my way, I'm someone no one can start a future or family with. This is such a scary situation for OP, and I feel so bad. What if something had happened to OP, but her partner wasn't there to let her in, let alone lying to her saying he'll leave and never does? Thankfully, her neighbors let her in, and nothing happened to her, but this could have gone so much worse. I'm so glad OP dumped her boyfriend, and I hope she lives a long, happy future. Now, onto story number 3. Am I overreacting for refusing to take care of my husband after an accident that left him disabled? I, 34F, have been married to my husband, Jake, 36M, for 8 years. Until recently, I would describe our marriage as decent, though not perfect. About 3 years ago, Jake was in a serious motorcycle accident. He survived, but he suffered permanent injuries that left him unable to walk without assistance and unable to return to his previous job. It completely changed his life. For the first year of the accident, I did everything I could. I worked full-time, handled the bills, drove him to appointments, helped him with physical therapy, cooked, cleaned, and managed the house. I barely slept and honestly felt like I was drowning, but I loved him and I wanted to support him. The problem wasn't his disability. The problem was how he started treating me. Jake became increasingly angry and bitter. He constantly insulted me over small mistakes, accusing me of not doing enough, and constantly compared me to other spouses he saw online who had supposedly, quote, dedicated their lives to caring for their partners. If I came home tired from work, he'd tell me I was selfish. If dinner was late, he'd complain for hours. If I wanted to spend time with friends, he'd accuse me of abandoning him. I kept telling myself he was struggling emotionally because of the accident. I encouraged therapy, counseling, support, groups, or anything that might help. He refused every option and insisted that I was the problem. Things reached a breaking point last month. I had worked a 10-hour shift and came home exhausted. He demanded that I drive across town to pick up food because he didn't like what I cooked. When I said I was too tired, he threw a plate on the floor and called me useless. For the first time, I snapped. I told him I was his wife, not his servant, and that I couldn't keep sacrificing my physical and mental health while being treated like garbage. The next day, I moved into my sister's guest room and informed him that I would help arrange professional care and continue contributing financially until he figures things out, but I will no longer be his primary caregiver. Now, his family is furious. They say that I'm abandoning a disabled man when he needs me the most, and that marriage means staying no matter what. Some of my friends agree, while others say I've already done more than enough. I don't hate Jake, and I genuinely feel terrible about his situation, but after years of being verbally abused and taken for granted, I simply don't think I can do it anymore. Am I overreacting for refusing to continue taking care of my husband after his accident left him disabled? Top comment says, "Please take care of yourself. You're getting burnt out and no wonder. Jake is disabled, but he needs to understand that you are not his punching bag. All the family who say you're abandoning him are welcome to come deal with his BS. I wish you well, not overreacting." I completely agree with the top comment. I also agree what Opie said. Opie mentioned that she has brought up therapy several times, but he shot down the idea. Part of me feels like it is emotional distress, but then the other part of me feels like he knows what he's doing and he knows he'll be called out for it. I hope Opie's spouse can come to the realization that he is in the wrong and he should probably get therapy and make this work. It is a very sad and unfortunate situation, and I do feel bad for the spouse, but just because you're in an accident doesn't mean you can change your entire personality and verbally abuse your wife. Now, onto story number 4. Am I overreacting? NP on virtual visit had their children in the room and I reported her. I had a virtual appointment today with an NP at my doctor. I was less than happy to be dealing with this NP again, since they had also done previous visits with me and conveniently couldn't get to the video to work. Called me on the phone instead and sounded like they were driving their car during the appointment. She had no information about me, clearly hadn't read my file, and was distracted. I didn't report them, just left a bad review when the doctor's office asked for feedback, but this time was over the line to me. When she came on the video for the virtual, only her eyes and nose were on camera. I think this is so rude, especially for a medical professional, but didn't say anything. Then I noticed her baby was screaming, which she apologized for. Okay, we all have got lives. It's not professional, but whatever. She once again knew nothing about me and like she never opened my folder at all. Then, halfway through the appointment, her 3- and 4-year-old kids run up and hugs her for a solid 2 minutes. She's not wearing headphones. I was never asked if I was okay with kids being in the room, and although I did not object right away, it's because I only thought it was a baby. I was so taken by surprise I didn't say anything at the time. I called the office and requested to speak to the privacy and complaints officer, but the doctor called me and instead left a voicemail. To be honest, I thought the first appointment was worth reporting, and now this. However, now I'm rethinking things. Am I overreacting? Should I just shut up and forget it? OP is not overreacting here. The NP is being extremely unprofessional. While I understand a lot of people have their own lives, but not showing yourself on camera and only having your phone tilted up and not reading the file on the person you're about to have an appointment with is extremely unprofessional. And for this to have happened before, where she's been on call and sounded like they were driving, is very unprofessional nonetheless. OP should definitely report this person. This is not okay, and it's a level of disrespect that I wouldn't take, especially if I'm paying for a doctor. That comes to the conclusion of today's stories. If you enjoyed, please remember to like and subscribe. It really does help a lot. My goal is to reach 100 subscribers by the end of the year, so please help that happen. I hope everybody has an amazing rest of their day or night. Bye bye!